Wildlife have evolved to endure the hardships of winter. A deer's best chance of survival is the fat it stores before winter. An elk makes it because its metabolism adjusts to the scarcity of food. Fish and Game's long-standing policy to not establish widespread winter feeding programs is based on wildlife science and keeping wildlife populations in balance with their available habitat. Yet when people perceive wildlife to be in trouble, they want to help. In some situations, this may be warranted. That's why winter feeding advisory committees were established in 1994. The regional committees, made up of sportsmen and concerned citizens, develop guidelines and make recommendations as to whether a specific wintertime situation is an emergency for wildlife.
And they consider things such as temperature, snow depth, and the condition of the animals going into the winter, which we monitor through our check stations, actually looking at harvested animals in the fall and measuring fat deposits in those animals. They also need to consider what kind of forage production year we've had in terms of good precipitation or if it's been a drought situation. So putting all those things together, unique to each region, these councils then develop guidelines on what they consider to be an emergency, and generally we're going to follow those.
Emergency winter feeding means buying and distributing tons of hay around the state, putting out troughs for pelleted hay where herds are accessible, and contracting with private individuals to feed deer and elk in key locations. All these methods are expensive and time-consuming. When advisory committees determine a situation is not an emergency, they recommend wildlife should not be fed, because winter feeding often can do more harm than good.
Emergency feeding should only occur on rare occasions. So you avoid starting to create a generations of dependency or habituation to emergency feed.
A humble reminder of wildlife's ability to survive even the toughest weather without our help is the fact that emergency feeding operations reach less than 5% of the big game populations. Instead of spending thousands of dollars on the short-term solution of winter feeding, these same resources could be used to secure the future of big game by protecting and enhancing critical habitat and keeping Idaho's wildlife wild.